Welcome to True Crime Private Eye, where intuition meets investigations. My name is Maryam, and I'm a psychic medium. And please welcome Savannah Harvey, a private investigator, intelligence researcher, and human advancement founder of Crown Mass and an Air Force veteran. And I don't see Denise. So Denise probably forgot because I might have forgot to tell her. Also, I'm surprised. Grateful people are here. Isn't there like a basketball game on or something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably.
shame on us. We should know. Uh tonight Tonight, Savannah's got some really cool new intel. She's got info on the Zodiac. Remember the Kurt Sova case? If you guys missed that live stream, I don't know, but I found it incredible what came out of that live stream. To join our Patreon, please scan the QR code right up there in the corner. We've got upcoming cases for Patreon and YouTube. Idaho 4 is coming on YouTube on the 22nd. Jason Landry just dropped on Patreon. And then Timothy Cunningham is also coming on Patreon. And we've got a whole list of recommendations that will also be on the way. Make sure to join myself and Denise Monday night. It's Pop Therapy and True Crime Files. We got a lot to talk about. The Michael Jackson Netflix special.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I was obsessed. So we're going to talk about that, of course, on Monday. And okay, I want to play you guys first. We're going to start with the Zodiac. So let me give you a little bit about a little clip I found of when I originally read the Zodiac.
It's the one guy, 5 people, somebody was watching him, someone was onto him. I don't know if that person killed him, framed him as suicide, or if the killer knew he was being watched, killed himself, but someone else knew who he was. This man I'm seeing watching the killer was onto him. The killer knew someone was watching him and was onto him. The killer took himself out.
Okay.
That's on YouTube now. Go down in our videos. I don't think it was a live stream, but Savannah, talk to us.
All right.
What are your thoughts about all of that?
Which thing?
The Zodiac. We're starting with the Zodiac.
The Zodiac.
What are your thoughts on me saying there was a watcher, there was someone else involved in submitting all, like, because you know the letters he was writing or whatever it was he was doing. So yes.
Okay.
You're up.
So, all right. So I was doing some research last night for this live, and I came across some things. Firstly, I'm just gonna, I don't know who knows what, so I'll just say, so Dean Farron, aka Arthur Farron, was Darlene Farron's second husband. So the timeline of events is pretty interesting. So Darlene and Jim, and by the way, there are a lot of discrepancies about his name. His name has come across as Jim Phillips, Crabtree, James Crabtree, James Phillips, a whole slew of his 3 names. So, interesting enough, he and Darlene were married in January 1966. And they ended up divorcing very early 1967. And it had to be before, I don't know, June, May or June, because she then married Dean Farron 3 August 1967, right? Some coincidences here. She married Dean and James, that's all called, James Jim, in Reno, Nevada. They didn't live in Reno at all. For some reason, they went to Reno to get married, although she was 18 and over. I don't know why that was. So when her and Jim divorced, I wasn't able to find reports about anything beyond that it was supposedly because he was physically violent toward her. So she, in essence, she divorced and remarried in a matter of a couple of months. But then she has a child with Dean Farron, and her name was Dina. Dina was born January 1968 in California. So now, if you do the math, there's a 5-month difference between the divorce, the marriage, and when this child was born. So she had to be 4 or 5 months pregnant when she married Dean. Now, there was never a DNA test done on Dina to see, and Dina is, I think, still with us, to see if this child belonged to Dean or Jim. And so it made me kind of realize that was her death related to the fact that she had to have had an affair with Dean, and who does Dina belong to? And it makes me wonder, does Jim James know? And did he suspect Dina was his child? And Dean Farron as well. Now that's the first part of the theory. Okay. We don't know what Jim and Dean knew or didn't know about Dina. But she definitely was at least halfway pregnant when she married Dean, for sure. Okay, and so the second part of that theory comes from the way in which Darlene was found, where she was unalived with the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, pattern of behavior, she has Jim, and she's commingling with Dean. And with Dean, she's commingling with this man that she was found with, where she eventually was unalived at, right? Mm-hmm. So now there are several theories, or several alibis for Jim, that he was an hour and a half away with California traffic when she was unalived. And he had people around him vouch for that was with him. And there are some stories that, contrast that too, but yeah, hard to tell really. But my theory is that Dean did the math about Dina and realized that Dina may or may not be his. And I think Dean unalived Darlene because he found her in a compromising position. He probably suspected, right? Mm-hmm. And then his work, he was supposed to be at work when this happened. But back in the day, there was no security cameras in the stores and none of that. So he had a coworker say, yeah, he was here the whole time. I saw him the entire time. So, but the thing is that Dean's job was 2.5 miles from where Darlene was found, unalived. And Dean's job was a half a mile away from the payphone where the police were called and said, hey, I did this. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's just a messy web of paternity and affairs.
And so who is this infamous picture? Remember oh, by the way, Denise is here. Everyone say hi to Denise. Oh, she said hi in the comments.
Hi.
Hi, Denise. So is this the Dean guy you're talking about?
So, okay. And that's another discrepancy. So I think that's not, I don't think that's him. I think that that isn't Jim James either. I think it's someone else in that picture that has just been named over time as Jim James, right? So I don't know, but there's something happening to where there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of not legal names being used. Because I found Arthur / his name is Dean, right? Him and Darlene's marriage certificate. I found that, but I could not find anything, even in the same exact place, for her and Jim. So it's odd. It's odd to say the least.
So you're saying your theory is the fact that there's so much this whole thing is so convoluted, just alone with their names, her being pregnant and marrying someone else.
Yes.
So whether we don't know if she had an affair to the person she married and was carrying his baby or had someone else's baby, and this may have been what triggered the Zodiac, basically, whoever the Zodiac is.
Right. So and maybe perhaps Dean being suspicious of the math, not knowing if Dina was his child or not. Maybe Dean saw this Zodiac killer thing and was like, this might be a way that I can get revenge, because I don't know his temperament, and then have it blamed on
the Zodiac
killer, because I couldn't find anything, and I might be wrong, but I couldn't find any other instance where he picked up the payphone and called and said, I did this. And here's where you can find them. I mean, I could be wrong, but I couldn't find anything like that. So I think there's some shady business going on there.
God, a lot. I mean, honestly, it's not that unusual for me to get super confused because that's what I do, but I'm very confused on who did what and why. All I know is that this woman was pregnant. This woman was pregnant, but I know that everyone who follows the Zodiac is following you perfectly.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is information I've never heard. I never knew she was pregnant. Never knew there was these two guys involved. And I mean, just from an intuitive place and from doing these cases, like that's all it takes is to set someone off. To be pregnant and cheating, if right, that can absolutely someone who's obviously already on edge. That is not what they're ready. That's not something they can mentally handle hearing.
Right. And I did find records, and just a little quick note on the name discrepancies. I did find records of Darlene's last name being Phillips, not Crabtree. So that's something else. So, and that was on legal documents from Ancestry.com from official databases.
Wow.
And Phillips is not her maiden name at all. So it went from her maiden name, started with an S, to Phillips to Farron. And she passed away as a Farron.
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
Right. And her and Jim were only married for a year tops.
Really?
Yes. And I found out they actually honeymooned in the Virgin Islands. So I'm going to go back and see if there's anything that happened around the Virgin Islands. And I did find that they lived other places. They lived in Albany, New York, and he has ties to Tennessee and Kentucky. So I really want to go back and see if there's any similar unalivings in those areas in the time frame he was there.
Yeah.
Because Darlene wasn't the first victim.
What number victim was she? Do we know?
I think she was 3. I can double check. I know there were a few before her.
Out of how many?
I think let me double check. I believe it's 5 or 6, but let me check.
And then he just stopped and he never got caught, obviously.
Right. So there were 5 confirmed unalivings and 2 survivors, so 7 total.
Wow. Ugh, to be those survivors. All right. Well, that sounds like that. How long did that? I mean, Savannah, that had to have taken a long time for you to navigate through all that.
It was. Yes. So she's actually the 3rd victim, Darlene.
Okay. Yeah, you were right then. All right. So anyone who's just joining us, you got to go back and watch everything she just talked about. Savannah just talked about the pregnancy, the marriage, the names. It's a whole show of a mess.
It is.
All right.
Really
Thank you for doing all that. Anything else on the Zodiac you want to talk about?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was so much happening when I came up with this theory. So much research. No, that's the gist of it. Oh well. From our last live about this, someone mentioned was the handwriting in that letter that that he didn't write, the same as some other letters like the Black Dahlia. And I realized the time frames were very different, but also I looked for other letters sent in by other, serial unalivers at the time, because it was very trendy for some reason. And the handwriting didn't match anything else. I think it might have been isolated.
Yeah. Yeah. The Black Dahlia and the Zodiac, I talked about this the last time, but Denise and I and Harlow did a read on this. And it was the first time I discovered and was told that entities, whether ETs or spirits, are messing with AI, can mess with AI, will mess with AI. The Zodiac in particular is not crossed over and loves to talk to whoever will listen. Loves to put on a show, say all kinds of stuff that's BS. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when we did the read, I had said that the Zodiac was the one that went in and messed with AI to just drum up more excitement around him again and around this case. And which is really, it's really interesting. It's really scary as far as just realizing that AI, how vulnerable AI is and how important it is for us to use our intuition even more so now, more than ever. Right. All right. I cannot wait to hear about Kurt's case, because that case has stayed with me because, well, you guys watch this. What I'm feeling is they got the wrong guy.
Okay, so here's something interesting. The body of Eugene Kvet, maybe Kvet, who actually Kurt knew, was found in another ravine on the same street 2.5 miles from where Kurt's body was discovered. Both the boys had been missing for a few days before they were unalived, and Eugene's right shoe, similar to Kurt's, was never found. Oh, hey, maybe that's why they got him mixed up.
That was first off, you know what? It was something really funny about that. Kurt Eugene Sova, that name was up on the screen the whole time, and neither Savannah and I caught on to that. And so neither one of us connected it, right? And then someone in the comments was like, it's funny that their names are, we're like, oh my God. That whole thing of, because the case is so like, just like he's gone and nothing, like no leads, no nothing. So when and it was hard to read. So when I finally was like, oh, they've got the wrong guy, then it's like everything started to open up. So talk to us. What does this mean?
So, okay. It's, oh my God, where do I even start with this? Okay, there are two major pieces here, right? So the first piece is the name discrepancies. Again, I don't know what it is with name discrepancies lately. So I found birth records of Eugene Kvet, we'll call him Kvet, in ancestry, but the thing is that he was born to two different sets of parents. And according to the records, he has two different last names.
Wait, how are you born to two different sets of parents?
Exactly.
Okay, I thought I was literally missing something. I was like, is there something I don't know? Okay, so what?
I'm bringing up the tree I made for him.
But I mean, think about it. Like all these name discrepancies, like, yeah, if you're hiding something, then it's not that shock and awe that there'll be name discrepancies. Zodiac, this guy. Okay, so go on.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
So Eugene's obituary names his parents as Joan and Leonard Welch. Okay. And I checked the dates, the area, everything. It's the same child. Okay. And Ancestry.com has those people listed as his parents as well. However, they also have Joan Lamnik. It's a very Ukrainian last name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. And Eugene Lamnick as his parents. Now, Lamnick is not Jones' maiden name. There's a record that lists Jones' maiden name as McNabb. So, and then there's a record, and these are all very official records, that lists Eugene Kivett as Eugene Lamnick, too. So, when I looked into what you said in our last video about maybe this was retribution for something his dad did, or something with his family, and Kurt was just an oopsie. And Eugene was the real target. That makes sense, and it makes me wonder if they were running from something in the Ukraine, because I don't know when they came to the U.S., but the name changes. The fact that they had the funeral in a very Ukrainian funeral home, and the fact that during that time frame there was several things happening in the Ukraine that would make people want to leave, like World War II after effects, of political repression, religious persecution, and I the only thing is I can't back that up yet because I can't find Ukrainian records of if they were there or not. But it would only make sense. It would only make sense because the name changes, and yeah, and also the fact of how this all went down. Kurt was basically kidnapped, right? Put into a van, and that was supposed to be Eugene. They were found on the same road, 2.5 miles apart, unalived the same way, with their shoes missing also in the same exact way. And another addition, a young man named Craig Franco, I found out last night, was actually part of the suspect pool, because some of the reports when Kurt was kidnapped, the witnesses said they heard him yelling Franco, and his friend David also heard him yelling Franco as he was being put into a van. And
so two people saw Kurt being put into a van.
Yeah, that's some of the reports. And they're claiming that he yelled out Franco.
Kurt yelled out Franco.
Yeah, Kurt yelled out Franco as these guys were putting him into a van. And the craziest thing is, Craig Franco, he was 20 years old, and he was, and 6 weeks after Kurt was unalived and found, Craig Franco was actually pew-pewed to death in a robbery at his job when he worked 6 weeks after that.
What is happening? Did you happen to send me a picture of this Craig Franco?
I did. I had to reply because I found it after I sent you the main email.
Oh, so okay. Hold on. Let me grab it. All right, keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah. So, it seems to me that maybe this was I don't know, some sort of a revenge plot, or you owe someone, and they're going to collect in the worst way, and maybe Craig Franco was involved somehow with, I don't know, assisting it, and then they had to keep him quiet.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So Craig Franco is like a hustler, and was hustling, gambling, and was really very entitled, didn't think that he would get caught or in trouble or anything like that. And so yeah, but this is separate from the question is, why did Kurt call his name?
Right. maybe he was there and he just thought he could help him or something,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, he definitely was not in that van. He definitely was not a part of abducting Kurt.
Good. Yeah, great.
He was Craig just honestly, the situation with Craig feels separate. It just feels like an isolated incident, whereas
Okay.
Kurt and Eugene are definitely, obviously, they got the wrong guy. They were going for Eugene. They took Kurt. But Craig is just a isolated situation. He feels like he was a gambler and just got himself in a mess of trouble, and
Okay.
couldn't pay anything back. And that definitely feels like a gambling debt with Craig. Wow, that's a lot to happen in one area.
Right, right.
And I was thinking this too, like maybe Eugene was adopted.
Yeah, he might have been. He might have been. Those are probably closed records that I probably couldn't see, but I can see if I can look into that, get any sort of confirmation at all.
So did Kurt's family, they never got any closure, right? They don't know. They, to this day, nobody knows and no one has told them anything.
Exactly.
That's a bummer. That's really sad. Well, I mean, the whole thing is like, come on, like.
Yeah, there was some a little bit more detailed information that I found last night. Supposedly, shortly before Kurt's body was found, a woman reported seeing two young men dragging an unconscious boy down an alley toward the ravine.
Oh my.
Says the boy appeared to be a teenager with one of his feet was bare, which matched how they found Kurt. And she, as she said at the time, she believed it was a group of drunk teenagers, and she didn't tell the police because her husband said, don't get involved.
Stay out of it.
Right.
We talked about that last time.
We did. Take case in point right here.
Wow.
So that's something.
Wow.
You know what I don't understand though is who called Kurt's parents and why, and told them that he was in their basement. And when they went over there, there was just a cot in the basement, but Kurt wasn't there. That part is really odd to me.
Remind me what happened. What was it?
There was when they were in the few days that they were looking for him, there was a call to his parents, I believe. And I can't think of the guy's name right now who called, but basically it was like, oh, Kurt, he's okay, he's in my basement. And then they went there. Kurt wasn't there. No one was there. It's just so bizarre. That just is kind of really confusing to me.
What is the name of the person who called?
Let me see if I can find it real quick. I cannot remember.
It was like one of Kurt's friends or something.
It was. I don't know. Let's see. No, I don't see a name for him right now. That
is strange. So someone called his parents. This was the night before they found him.
It was in the day's time frame where they didn't know where he was. I'm not sure exactly which day it was. Okay, actually, I just found it. I'm sorry, it wasn't a man, it was a woman. It says the call was made by an anonymous woman. She phoned the Sova family home, told Kurt's mother that Kurt was sleeping off his intoxication in the basement of the duplex where the Halloween party had taken place. Kurt's father went over there immediately. And he only found a cot with a pillow that looks like it had been recently slept on. But Kurt wasn't there, and the homeowners were like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. She was related to the guys that did this. Yeah. That was all part of the plan. She was clearly related to them. It's yeah, because it's like Kurt's all the party and all Kurt's friends, you know, I can see that they're completely separate from this situation. Like no one had anything to do with this. No one had anything to do with it except for those two men, and they have some woman call or one of their wives call. It's just part of what they do. That's just what they do. It's the way they do things. It's like the shoe being left off the foot. It's signaling. It's
right.
Whatever mobsters do. So that is heartbreaking.
And it didn't help that the lead detective on Kurt's case, Robert Karras, was actually convicted on drug and corruption charges not too long after that happened as well.
Wait, who was?
Is the lead detective named Robert Karras. He was assigned to Kurt's case.
Didn't I mention something about someone was corrupt?
You did.
The lead something, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you did. And he was arrested on drug and corruption charges and several instances of police brutality. And then he was sentenced to 6 to 15 years in prison.
Wow. God. They had all the odds against them, the Kurtz family. All right.
Ohio.
Thank you for doing all that work. That was some great follow-up stuff.
Of course.
Great follow-up information. All right. So our case for tonight, Timothy Pitzen. I think this is one I did a stitch for already. Tell us a little bit about this case.
Sure. Let me pull up my notes. All right. Timothy Pitzen, 6 years old when he went missing in pretty recently, May 2011 in Illinois. His mother was seemingly fine. She picked him up from school without permission, took him across some state lines. In general, we'll pull up all the details later, and basically left him somewhere. We don't know where, and then unalived herself in a hotel room. Left a note that basically said, "He's alive. I left him with people who will love him and take care of him, but you'll never find him."
All right. So here is the here. I wanted to play this for you guys so we can we're going to pick up where I left off with, I did a stitch on TikTok and I gave us a little bit of information already, which is what prompted us to do this case. So I'm going to play that for you guys. One sec.
Takes her son out of school.
Okay, let's do
to the zoo, a water. Mother takes her son out of school to the zoo, a water park, and then the Wisconsin Dells. 2 days later, the mother was found in a hotel. She had taken her own life and left a note that her son was safe and with someone who loved him and would never be found. That's the mystery 15 years later that remains unsolved in the disappearance of Timothy Pitzen. He was 6 years old that day when his mom took him out of school. Timothy is from west suburban Aurora, Illinois, and to this day, he remains missing. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shows us what Timothy may look like now. He would be 19 years old. The Aurora Police Department says this case is open. They have not forgotten about Timothy. Anyone with information should contact them at 630-256-5516, or you can call 1-800-THE-LOST. Help us spread the word about Timothy Pitzen's case by commenting and, as always, by sharing in your social circles.
Let us know in the comments if this is a case you would like myself and private investigator Savannah to dig a little deeper into. I feel he's still alive, and I feel that the mother, the energy is that like she sold him off. I don't know if she literally sold him off, but she handed him off to people that are looking for children. It doesn't feel like trafficking to me. It feels like a commune or something like that. He feels alive, and he feels like he's been repressed and he's being held privately, and they won't come forward. They don't want to lose control of him. They don't want him found. It feels like there's other children there, but I do feel like that this commune is just kind of the word that keeps coming to me, quote unquote church, is actually going to be raided. They're going to find where this compound is. I'm getting maybe Ohio, Montana, but I feel like this case will be resolved in the next 5 years at most. Okay.
Ohio.
Freaking what goes on? Why is Ohio always like in trouble?
I grew up in Ohio. It's really crazy there. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in Ohio.
I feel like more goes on in these small places than in big cities, you know?
Right.
Okay, so let's do, no, I don't want that. Hold on, I got us here. I wanted to put this. Why is it, remove that. I want this up. Why is it not letting me put that up? Hold on one sec. There, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, so talk to me. What are some of the questions you might have? I'm going to pull up Timothy's pictures. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me talk real quick. Who you sent a picture of this, like a mugshot, obviously, of some dude. What's the question? What's the deal with him?
The deal with him is that he claimed that he was Timothy Pitzen.
No, he's not.
Okay, yeah, I put that in there because he's the only one that has came forth to claim that he was Timothy.
But they did DNA on him?
They did, and it said it was a hoax. And but it just makes me wonder, in so many cases where kids are taken from their parents or put in communes or these type of weird organizations, that they often run into other kids who know them, and then if the other one escapes, they're like, "Oh, I'm Timothy Pitzen."
Oh,
makes me wonder if he knew him or if he ran into him at some point, because he was homeless, mental health issues, and that a lot of people, develop those type of things because of their childhood.
Oh, interesting. Okay, someone's asking, where is this case? Where did that happen?
In Illinois. That's where he's from.
Oh, in Illinois. Okay.
Right. So they traveled through Illinois, Wisconsin, and I looked at a timeline. I did narrow it down that on May 13th, at some point between 12 p.m. and 7:25 p.m., she had to have dropped him off wherever she put him, because that is the only time period where he's not with her on surveillance cameras. And then the next time that she appears on surveillance camera, she's alone at a hotel where she then takes her life that same night.
Okay.
And there
Okay,
was a
so
pending divorce too, by the way.
there was a pending divorce. Okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. What's your ask me some leading questions here. Let's see.
Okay, I just have one big question. I have to, I don't know if it's in any way, I just have to know. Is Timothy with Kyron Horman? Because I know that you did a video a long time ago that said Kyron is probably still with us. And I'm wondering, the similar ages, similar situations, the stepmom took Kyron. So I don't know if it's connected. I have to ask.
No, Kyron was if I'm not mistaken, it was inside the family.
Okay.
This is not inside the family. She took him somewhere outside of the family. Like I said, like a commune. What is a commune? It's something that claims to be a church, but is
Right.
everyone lives there, and
political, religious group of, people. Yeah. Okay. So I have a lot of questions about this then.
okay.
So he's alive. Does he know who he is?
Yes.
And how many other missing children could you picture him with? Ballpark figure.
12.
Oh
10.
my God.
10, 2 older children.
Where is this commune?
I keep getting Ohio. May not.
Can you get like a specific Ohio section of Ohio?
Is there like a Southwest Bend type? Southwest B, like a bend or bender or something like that.
I'll check a map when we get done here and see. Does he or the children or anyone have access to the outside world, social media,
No.
anything? No, of course not.
Some limited. Yes. This is how he actually knows that he knows that he's missing. He knows that he is not with family and this isn't where he's supposed to be. He's very aware.
Okay.
Children have died there though.
Oh my goodness.
Malnutrition.
How far does this group reach? Is it statewide? Is it through the country? Are there different sects of it in different states?
Small, specific to the state, specific to a family-run business. I think there's a family-run business attached to it, which is why people don't think to consider it bad or weird or
Are they Amish?
Are they, say it again?
Are they Amish or are they one of those groups like that? Off the grid?
No.
Okay.
No. And they've brainwashed themselves and those children to think that they have done something good by taking in these children.
Right. Can you see how his mother got in touch with these people? And did they buy him, or was it just, hey, we can keep him here?
What was the mother's name again?
Let me pull it up. Her name was Amy Fry Pitzen.
Amy was not mentally sound. And I don't mean that she was just depressed. And I don't mean just, I mean, people that are depressed are mentally sound. They're just struggling with depression. She was not that. She was struggling deeply with her mental health in a way that went well beyond depression. She would hear voices. She was afraid she would harm her child. Um, and this is why she dropped him off at this place. Like, there's this literally feeling like going through the yellow pages back when those were a thing, like just
Oh.
randomly finding something. I say that lightly because it does feel like there was a tie to this place, like some sort of, like, whether it was signage or someone mentioned it, not necessarily in a good way. Somehow there was a connection to how she ended up there, but it was not well thought through. She was not doing things from a place of clarity by any means. And I keep
It makes
seeing.
me wonder if she, I don't know where she grew up. Did she have any physical contact or knowledge of these people before?
No,
Just
it
so
just feels
random.
it feels very random, which is what makes it difficult for them to track down this
Yeah.
this commune.
So, what made her pick that particular day and time to do all of this whole complicated trip?
So what's important to remember is that when someone isn't of sound mind, they are sometimes, as we obviously, I'm not a doctor or therapist, but when I'm being explained is that sometimes, these minds can work very clear when it comes to putting something extravagant together, right? They can be struggling in the day to day, but and not have this like savant type thinking all the time. Not that, but when they're determined to do something, they can really ground themselves and do what it is they want to do. But there isn't rhyme or reason behind it. What drove mom was that she was afraid that she would hurt her son.
Right.
And so she took her life first. And there wasn't even, it's not even like I feel a mother's love wanting to protect him as much as it was more like, I will hurt him. And then what happens to me? And so she just removes herself. She was mad at the husband, didn't like the husband, did not like the relationship that the husband and the son had, which I feels like it was healthy, as healthy as possible. And she just was this jealous, raging individual. And she did not want him near. She did not want the child near the father or any other parts of the family. And I don't feel like there was any real reason for that other than her own instability.
Okay. And do you think that maybe she mentioned these people to the dad just in passing and he just hasn't realized?
No. No. So I can see it. It's located, there's not a lot of grass. There's a lot of brown. And this will obviously require follow-ups to really pinpoint it.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of Montana, like Montana too, because Montana feels like it's like the energy of Montana. If, like, I know I'm saying Ohio and Montana, I'm all over the place, but it like feels like the energy of Montana, where there's like, I've never been there, I don't know, but like rolling hills and lots of empty space that isn't, there's not brush, there's not green, there's not big trees. This is just land. And so everything, like it's bare, just because there's not grass and greenery around it. There's cattle. and it's in the middle. So like there's mountains here, and then it's in the middle of the mountains, drop down just a little bit. It's about 45 minutes outside of town.
Okay.
It's been there. I think it's a dry cleaners, that this family owned business. I think it's a dry cleaners. And people suspect and kind of talk that, they're a little strange or something like that. But there's not really, I could be wrong about this, obviously, but I don't feel like there's been any sexual abuse. It's just this strange place where they hoard children. So it's like, and then as they grow into adults, they can't let them out because they'll all get in trouble for keeping them there. And the reason why I say I'm not sure if there's been abuse or not is because it's like, how could there not be? Like, why else would this be in existence? So, but for some reason, that's not feeling like it's right in the forefront. It feels more like this is a couple that started out by adopting children, and then it got weird. It got out of hand and strange. And I'm not really seeing. It's a couple.
Sorry, I was just looking at, kind of typing in the terrain that you were talking about, and so what keeps coming up is a place called Nelsonville, Ohio, that has the kind of rolling Montana-esque environment, and Athens, Ohio. I'm sorry.
Can you send it?
Sure.
Let's see. Coming sent up a leader who claims to be God, Jesus, or some other profound leader. There's usually a power imbalance. There are some that are harmless people living off the land. Okay. Sad she didn't leave him. I mean, that's all you had to do. Like, it's like all you had to do was just leave him with dad. But no, had to destroy his life. There's a commune in southern Ohio called the Black Locust Collective.
Ooh,
interesting.
I'll look that up and also send you a picture of it. The Black Locust Collective.
Yes.
I know.
But also kind of Montana. See if maybe Montana, maybe there's something coming from there too.
Okay. Let me find a picture of the Black Locust. Picture of the outside.
Like the voices in her head were telling her to take him for his safety. Yeah, I agree. Okay,
there's not many pictures of Black Locust, but there's one that's kind of something other than inside of a building, so I'll send that one to you. Okay. All right. So I just sent those. The one with the structure is Black Locust, and the other one is that Nelsonville, Athens area.
Okay, there is a bend in Montana.
Nice.
Okay, so let's hit that up too. Okay, you sent me something?
Yes. So, and I'll look up Montana Bend too. Whoa. Hold on. Okay, there's a place in Ohio actually called Montana. Muntanna. No kidding.
Oh wow, send me that.
Okay.
No, it's not here where you said the first pictures you sent, not there.
Okay. And the structure is that Black Locust group, their area.
Where did our okay, hold on. Okay, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
I'm gonna
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I'm gonna screenshot this part, this Montana, Ohio, to you, and then I will do actually Montana.
I'm super curious about the Montana. That's crazy.
Right. Okay.
Because God, what's really killing me is I can feel him when she left him there. And it just reminds me of like when you leave a dog at a rescue or a shelter, and it's like, what are you doing? Like they know.
It's so sad.
Big Bend, Montana, hills with surrounding mountains. Okay. Sunflower Soul is on it. She's like, I am not letting this go.
Nice. Okay, so I just sent you Montana, Ohio, and now I'll look
Okay.
up what's it called, Big Bend, Montana.
Oh, sorry. I'll put it back up.
Oh,
There you go.
okay, Big Bend. Okay, let me. Montana.
Does anyone in the comments know, just so I don't break Savannah's concentration here, do you know if his dad is looking for him? If there is like been a push for dad to find him? Like, or has it just been now yes. That's the terrain I was feeling, where the Montana that you sent me. That's the terrain I was feeling for sure. Montana, Ohio, that terrain. Yeah. Okay, so let's now see. He has been, yes. Okay, so we can try and maybe get a hold of him, and let's see if we can drill this down a little bit more. So
Definitely.
Montana, okay, so the pictures that she sent me here, I'll show you guys while she's looking that up. Now what I'm not necessarily saying this is it, but this is exactly what I was seeing. This is important. So let me show you guys this.
Okay, and I just sent Big Bend, Montana too. Two pictures of it, different areas.
Where did it go? Well, that's weird. Okay. Sorry, I was going to show you guys, but I can't find it. Save image as unnamed desktop. Can you just save it there? And then I can pull this up for you guys. Desktop. It's weird. It's not saving it. Okay. I'm going to look at, okay. So now what am I looking at? I'm looking at, Big Bend.
Big Bend, Montana. Yeah. Two
Oh,
different
yeah.
pictures, the general area. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. I think it might be more Montana. What are you guys feeling? Denise, what are you feeling? Montana. I think it's Montana. But I mean, I think we gotta dig into both. You gotta dig into both. Because Montana in Ohio also, that terrain feels very similar, but so does Montana. I mean, who knows? Maybe they have two locations or something. I don't know. But
Can you see if how many people are in this commune, and can you see like anything about what they do besides the dry cleaner? Because there's more than a few communes in Montana. I just found out.
oh, really?
There's quite a few. Yes.
Wow. white male, white female. White female has brownish, like brown, mousy brown hair. I can't see what the male looks like as much as I can see the female clear, thin, tall-ish, not short. Has them working, like they work on the commune. They won't let them leave. A lot of that is mental, abuse, like convincing them, they've abused them long enough that the kids think they can't leave, even though they're adults now. And
Stockholm syndrome type of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Big Bend is an area of hills centrally located, more isolated between mountains and national parks. You know what we would have to do? Like, if we can get Dad involved, I would just start going through names of communes, which we can do that too, and just start seeing what hits. Dad has said he thinks he is alive and living somewhere off grid. Weird that Dad thinks the same thing.
Nice.
I think what's really what's really driving me about this case is you can feel that this boy wants to be found, doesn't want to be there, is conscious of how long this has been going on, doesn't know how to get out. The farming is them being more self-sufficient, not a business. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can you tell if there are other adults that are not part of the child group that's been there for a while? It's just these two adults and then this collective of kids. Okay.
So the number 12 and 15, and two of them are older. So I think there's 12, 13, 14, 15. The number 12, 15, and then the two adults.
Okay. That's good to know. Well, I guess we'll have to see if we can get in contact with his dad and then try to narrow down these areas.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to really narrow down, obviously, which is it Ohio or is it Montana?
Right.
I mean, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
This is what stands out the most is there's no greenery around there. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean there isn't. I'm just saying what's most prevalent, what's most obvious is the brown, is the mountain, is the, and even the home itself, the compound or the home, because it doesn't feel like a massive compound that's like huge. It doesn't feel like that at all. It's like just a bigger house. Brown. It's everything feel like brown is what just keeps calling to me. And then these two older kids, the two oldest of them all, keep standing out to me. And then there's 12 younger, but the 12 that he was the part of, that we're all sort of in the same age. You know, where you need to do a little bit of research on obviously the communes, but we need to see people who have adopted or fostered in large numbers or larger numbers, never had any strikes against them, were considered good people. That because I don't feel they have any reason for anyone to be suspicious of them.
Right. Okay. Definitely.
It's just going to be odd when they're found, that these children were never let out. So it's like their argument is going to be, we were taking in children that nobody wanted. Then why didn't you let them out? Why were they not allowed to roam and live and grow up and move out? So
go to school, right? There was no school.
Homeschooled. the parents were very aware that if they let them out, something would happen. I don't know what that something is. I'm just saying they're very aware that they couldn't let them out in the public. So homeschooled and all that stuff.
I would love to see where her. Actually, I'll try to find out. I'll email a detective and the detective and see if I can get any information. Fingers crossed. We know how that goes. But it makes me wonder where her cell phone pinged at, and that 7 hours where she had to do the exchange with these other people.
Mhm.
If they met her somewhere where her phone pinged, or if she took them to them. It makes me wonder. I mean, is there a way that you can tap into if he remembers, like, getting into another car and going, or just her dropped him off and just left?
See, I saw him standing in the doorway watching her leave. But something about that is telling me that may not be totally accurate. So what I may be feeling is him looking out the window wondering when she's coming back.
Right.
Because I don't feel they can track her ever going there. And it may be because no, she never did go there. That to me is sort of where I'm at with it right now, because they don't let anyone there. They don't let anybody there. They would never have let somebody drive up and drop off a child. So that's why when I said I kept seeing him looking out the door, standing at the door looking, and then in the same breath I was hearing that that's not accurate. They would never let somebody drive up to that space, that home. So that's not true. Him looking out the window with sadness is obviously a thing, but she didn't drive there because they would have been able to track that, because there's holes in her plan. There's holes in her story. And I think that the husband, the father, knows where some of those holes are, but he can't connect the dots himself. And that could be a place that we could help him connect the dots.
Absolutely.
I feel like the adults give some elaborate story of how the kids came to them from other family members that were sick or died. Yes, agreed. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we've got 2 weeks. Let's see if we can get Dad.
Okay.
And then any more photos you can get, names of communes, anything. People, is there when people adopt, is there record of that, or is that all private?
Depends on the state. Some states seal them, and then some states don't, depending on, I don't know, it's changed a lot over the years. So some are sealed, some are open. And then it also depends on what the adoptive parent and the birth parent agreed upon as well.
All right. Okay. So we got some more work to do. We know that parents don't typically respond. And, I was talking to someone about this the other day, and the remote parts of Montana are more like farming, drier lands, very remote. Okay. I was talking to Elaine, who helps us a lot with research, and she's gets very excited about reaching out to families. And I said, don't get your hopes up. I mean, I just always assumed I didn't have luck with that, because as a psychic, I think either one of two things. They either don't believe in psychics, obviously, or they've worked with psychics and nothing came of it for whatever reason. And it's not because the psychics are wrong or bad, but it's like they can sometimes give information like I gave. Like, there's a lot more work that has to be done, right? It was still very vague what I offered. And then sometimes there's a lot of strangeness around why parents don't, maybe whether they're involved, or in this case, it's not because they're involved, but they just don't want the pain, the suffering. That they'd like something, very substantial, or it's not worth their time. So
Right.
And then, of course, I say all that just from my experience. And then, the last time we were live, Savannah talked about how you experienced that a lot of just people
Right.
not cooperating, not wanting to cooperate, whether it's authorities, families. I can imagine that over time, families are just exhausted with it and are like, if it can't bring my
Yeah.
child back, forget it. But in situations like this, where everyone's feeling like this boy is alive, you would hope that maybe he can watch this and maybe feel like, there's hope and maybe we can do something.
Right. And just to reiterate that point, I actually met someone yesterday, just in the daily life errand running, that actually is a retired police officer. And he said that he had the exact same experience in his 24 years of being a police officer, that they just didn't seem to want to solve cases. It wasn't a priority. It wasn't important. They were more focused on, ticket quotas that doesn't exist anymore, supposedly. And, just like these small things, right? Going to calls and dealing with that and arresting people. But actually solving cases like this just didn't seem very priority.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, that's an insider saying this, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that interesting? Wow. A lot of fundamentalists live pretty remote in these types of areas. And what you're saying sounds like what his dad feels with the off the grid type of people. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could,
Fundamentalists, that feels like
right.
something.
It kind of feels like it's like some people who just bought land and then just a bunch of land, because you can actually do that for pretty cheap these days, and then just build stuff on it. It's what it seems like to me. And if I could just, I don't know, if I had like a hint of their names, just kind of similar to, I could search up land records in the States and see if there's any that I could narrow it down by.
I
Because
think
if you have that land, you have to register it.
I think what's interesting is what you just said, though, before I address that, is I keep using the word commune, but if it's not like a well-known, like I say, well-known, or like something that people are aware of, like you said, like these are just two people that bought land. They don't run a church. They don't run a commune. They just ended up doing something very sketchy. And it feels like their intentions weren't sketchy in the beginning, and then they got sketchy.
And so they're probably just ultra religious.
Yeah, to justify what they're doing and their behavior. So names, Sam, maybe Sam.
Okay.
It could be short for something. It could just be S. Could be Samantha is the mother, the woman that I keep seeing. How would you? I swear, I feel like Dad knows something that he doesn't think is valuable information, or I swear I think he has shared he's not holding it. He's like shared it, and people are like, we don't know what to do with that. I think he might have something that we could start putting pieces together and going, because I think he has some thought process of the behavior of Mom in those moments during that time that could help us. Yeah, we have to revisit that. We have to revisit this. This is like part 1 of God knows how many parts.
Yeah, I'll find a number or an email, something. I'll search up everything available on the internet, and then I'll get a hold of him. I'll try my best, and hopefully he'll be willing to participate.
All right. So we'll revisit this in 2 weeks, unless Dad responds, then we'll talk sooner. And then Monday night is Pop Therapy and True Crime Files, right here. So we'll see you guys there. Hold on. What is she saying? Compound keeps coming to mind. Yeah, me too. And Wait, was a compound no, what was I saying? What was the word I kept saying?
Commune.
Commune. Yes, okay. And MT is a lot of under the radar ones. Okay, sorry, I'm done. These having me the vacations are my first. Okay, well, no, Sunflower Soul 44. Like, if this is something you've been exploring, please send us like my email. Let me give you my email, and please, if you are already interested in this stuff, this could be really helpful. So email us what you're thinking, what you're feeling. I'll send it to Savannah. This is why we do this as a group. Let's get this information together and see what we get. Use your intuition and just send us stuff. We will absolutely use it and apply it. All right. Nice work tonight, everybody. Thank you. Thank you to Denise for being here. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks or sooner if something comes up.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay.